So, as always down here in Australia, we get films nice and late.
Well, actually, this was like 2 weeks late, but then we haven't reviewed it for quite some time.
And everyone online, I feel, had seen this months before. But anyway, The Beguiled, we've seen it.
And we're gonna talk about it now.
I think.
Yeah.
Sofia Coppola directed The Beguiled, and this is her...
Oh Christ, that was really good.
I know.
Because we always say so.
Yeah, there we are.
So. Every single that's just our thing. Trademark. That. Let's review the movie.
Sofia Coppola directed The Beguiled, and this is a pretty damn G film. This is her first film since The Bling Ring. She also did the Lost in Translation film with Scarlett Johansson.
And Bill Murray. And she's done other stuff.
Along the way. Anyway, she is Francis Ford Coppola's daughter.
And he is the guy that did The Godfather, Apocalypse Now. He's just the guy. He's the film dude.
The dude! But this film is about the women, and it has an all-star cast.
About the women. This movie's... it's just... What's the movie about? The women. Great setup.
No, but this film stars an all-star cast, and we've got Nicole Kidman at the top of the bill, and then we have Kirsten, Dunst, Elle Fanning, and Gory Rice here from Perth, rep Australia.
Yeah, Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, and there's one more. We're missing someone. I don't think we are missing anyone, but this cast is absolutely fantastic.
What's the film about though? The film is basically, is it technically a remake of, or like a restyling of a film that Clint Eastwood did like 30, 40 years ago or something?
Yeah.
So basically the film is about, Colin Farrell is a Confederate soldier. I don't know the US Civil War enough, but basically he's a Southern soldier in the Civil War who's basically found, one of these girls finds him, brings him back to their kind of, their school. This school for girls that's run by Nicole Kidman's character, and they nurse him, basically they're nursing him back to health, and the film is basically about how these women kind of turn on each other when there's not been any men around for ages, and now they put a guy into the environment. It's a weird one in terms of gender politics to talk about, because it's kind of like, I feel like there was a message there that I didn't really tap into, but as an actual piece of just entertaining viewing, this movie kind of delivers on a moment-to-moment basis.
There is some incredible things here, and I mean, let's start right there, because for starters, the visuals are absolutely nuts. Beautiful. Like,
way better than I was expecting as well. Like, really some stunning stuff in there.
Not even kidding. Could just turn the sound off for this film and just sit there and watch it, because it is freaking gorgeous. I believe it was shot on 16mm, and it was definitely shot on film of some kind, and it just adds a flavour, it adds a style, and it adds a timelessness to it.
There's a lot of density to the shots, like the air actually feels really heavy. Like actually sitting there watching, it's like there's a lot of weight to it. Obviously, it uses a lot of that kind of southern foliage that you get, like the trees and stuff, kind of with those hanging branches and stuff. Just adds a lot of great kind of styling to it. There's a lot of mist, a lot of fog. A lot of the candlelit stuff all looks really, really fantastic. I want to say the actual visual communication as well, because we're just talking about like the aesthetics of it. But the actual visual communication from in the shots, kind of putting all of these women in one shot and kind of letting it kind of hang, and watching all the kind of all these kind of different interactions happen between these women. Like obviously the focus of the scene is just these two characters here talking, but the three on this side are having some interaction, but there's also one sitting here and these two are looking at each other, and there's always constantly character development even when characters are not focused at the shot. Like it's really, really great directing and performing.
And I think that all goes to Sofia Coppola. Like I give her a lot of credit for this film, because the way that she had all these characters interact with Colin Farrell's character, and how they all were so individualized in their own thoughts and ideas towards him, was absolutely fantastic.
Just put all these people with the same want but different ways of wanting it all together in this one house, and it's always going to explode. There's great chemistry here. It's
100%. And I've also got to say as well, I mean, it's not something that's necessarily always talked about with female directors, but I actually felt the fact that it was a female that directed this, especially in the way that this film was shot around Colin Farrell, because quite often, you know, we absolutely hate it. Michael Bay does it so much, is the over-sexualization of women on film. It's just a joke. But here, what she presents is kind of this women's point of view of seeing Colin Farrell come into their house. And it's different. You've never seen anything like it in any other film before.
Yeah, well,
and
at
it's
least
really
I
quite,
haven't,
yeah. Well, I mean, like any films that we've seen at least. And it was a really wicked perspective, and something It was a really wicked perspective and something that we wouldn't get without a director like Sofia.
Because it's a weirdly kind of sexualized vantage point that we're seeing it through, but at the same time it's kind of got this suppressed thing where people didn't really put that kind of thing out there back in the 1700s, 1800s. I need to learn my American history. And that being said as well, like the individual performers here are fantastic. I want to say, weirdly enough, I feel in a women-driven film, the fact that I want to say that Colin Farrell was my favorite or was the person who impressed me the most is probably a dodgy thing to say and it's probably going to trigger some people, but I thought he was absolutely outstanding, to like awards recognition outstanding. I thought he has so much great material to work with here. Elle Fanning, as always, is just what an incredible upcoming star. The amount of amazing stuff we've seen her in lately, even in films that haven't turned out to be that good, she is just one to watch constantly because she is just stunning.
Kirsten Dunst is also fantastic.
She's on fire at the moment.
Delivers everything that she needs to, and Nicole Kidman obviously has had like an unbelievable track record lately, and delivers again a hell of a performance.
Even though her accent was a little
bit all over the place, but you become forgiving. And so anyway, I will move to the next point, which I wasn't so forgiving about with this film, is I'm not going to talk about it too in depth because it will spoil it, but there is a certain plot point in this film that they decided to do with Colin Farrell's character, and when it happened, it was a turning point for the rest of the film, and I just felt it was handled quite poorly, and it ended up, we had this film that was kind of, had all this rising tension the whole time. We kind of didn't know where it was going to go. Then it hit this plot point, and then it faded
out. It was like,
and it just went through.
It went
to the
for
ending.
full entertainment. When you're watching the movie, there's kind of this thing with it. When you're watching, you're like, oh, okay, it's really interesting watching this kind of this battle of the genders kind of play out in this kind of gender politics and stuff, and seeing this interaction. It's all about like, you're like, oh, I wonder what point the film's going to make by the end of it. And then there's this turning point in the movie where it goes into full-blown kind of entertainment, moment by moment satisfaction. And I think as much as I'm thrilled by that as a viewer to watch, I'm not left with anything actually being said by the movie. I don't know what it's actually telling me.
I suppose the intent that we kind of thought we might have been clicking onto, we didn't get. And so, you know, maybe we were wrong, but like that's just kind of how we viewed it at the end of the day.
I don't know whether that's the point of it, but it didn't feel like that. I feel like I'd be aware if that's what it was meant to say. Like, oh, it's not about anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So, I mean, it was an interesting point, but it was just something that like kind of, it really drew me out of the film as well, because it also was a plot hole for the character. What happened to the character? I was like,
sudden.
It actually didn't make any sense in the film. I was like, no, actually, you haven't explained what's happened here. That drew me out of the film, and I don't like having to have
It was
that.
a decision that the characters make based off motivations that we wouldn't believe they would have based on the way they're set up. So that's kind of where the detractor of the film lies, but at the same time, like, we've got to say, it is definitely really watchable. It is definitely entertaining. It looks great. Performances are great. It's got this great classical vibe to it.
And it's a film that's built to last as well over time, which is really great.
Yeah,
I
can't see it aging that much because it just kind of already felt timeless while watching it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that brings us to giving this one a score, and we're both going to settle with this one on an 8.
Yes.
And if you get the chance, definitely check it out, because it's worth it. It's a sweet indie.
So that was our review of The Beguiled. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like this video?
Of course you did.
Create more banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel right there somewhere.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banter.